What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Pit Life Barbecue Podcast, coming to you live from the studios in New York. What that means, you can't start the barbecue weekend unless you start on Monday. So let's go. Tonight's episode brought to you by, obviously, Uncle Steve Shake. Uncle Steve Shake, what can I say? 16 amazing flavors of seasonings. The sauce with no name. Steve uses the freshest of products in everything. 99% of the time you place an order, your order is getting mixed that week. So, you order Monday and it hits the mail on Friday. During that week, it's getting mixed. It's not sitting around for weeks and months on end, all small batch to keep everything fresh. The freshest ingredients, customer service beyond repair. Steve wears all the hats. Call that number. Steve's answering the phone. Send that email. He's responding. He's the one doing all the legwork. Any questions you have, he'll work with you. Figure out your flavor profiles, what you're looking to do. If you're doing a specific event, and you're looking to figure out how much product you need, he's got you covered on that too. Check him out at UncleSteveShake.com and on Facebook, Uncle Steve Shake Nation, for all the latest and greatest of everything Uncle Steve Shake. Uncle Steve Shake, shake some on everything. Also brought to you by Joe's Meat Market, the diamond of Royce City, Texas. Gabriel and his crew do a tremendous job. They have Joe's Meat Market, has that old hometown feel to it. It's the local meeting place. Freshest meats. You need something custom cut, he's got you covered. You need a custom order, something he doesn't carry, he'll get it for you. Fresh produce brought in daily. Rubs, sauces, charcoal, smoking wood products now. All available. One-stop shop. Gabriel and his crew, like I said, have it all. While you're there, you feeling a little hungry? Got you covered. Mom will take care of you. Gabriel's mom is behind the counter, cooking up fresh tacos, fresh pots of menudo daily, and a few other things. So sit down, grab some tacos, grab a bite, sit down, talk to the boys. Just chew the fat, talk barbecue, talk sport, talk whatever you want. But, everybody's family at Joe's Meat Market. Check them out, all social medias on Joe's Meat Market or Joe's Meat Market TX. And remember, Joe's Meat Market for the win. Let's see here. Daddy Dutch, what's up? Brother Steven, Big Room, what's happening? Mrs. Mags. Dan, Dan, hold on. I got to represent my boy Dan. There we go. Big Dog Sauce Company. Great, incredible products, guys. All fresh, all natural. There's no bullshit in anything. Great seasonings, great sauces. Check them on Facebook and social medias. Big Dog Sauce Company. I'm actually looking at the calendar right now, and I'm going to reach out to try to get together with Dan to get him back on for the latest and greatest, because he's got something working right now. I can't divulge, but it's a game changer. It's a game changer, and it's a space saver. We'll just leave it at that. But I was able to meet back up with Dan a couple weeks ago at the competition, 4th of July weekend down in Rhode Island. So it was great to meet up with him again and his wife. Great people, great company. Check them out. But guys, I'm excited tonight. We hit a bunch of stuff with this gentleman taking his time to join me. Going to find out his journey in this wonderful world of barbecue we got, and then we're gonna touch on that little gem I got sitting out under the overhang right there. The new little piece of magic I'm all about right now. But without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Jacob Lubbers. Jacob, what's up, brother?
Oh, not a whole lot, man. I am coming at you from Baxter, Minnesota. I've never had the pleasure of being here myself, but that's where I find myself on this fine evening. So,
Baxter, Minnesota.
Yeah, usually I'd be in usually I'd be in Knoxville, Tennessee. That's where my house is, but I'm always traveling all over the place. So Today it's Baxter, Minnesota.
What brings you to Baxter, Minnesota?
So in the full-time gig world, I work for a little company called Valvoline. So I work with our fleets all around the country. And we happen to have a customer up here in Staples, Minnesota, which is, again, I've never heard of until this company, but the closest hotel to there, which is it's about a half hour away yet, is here. So that's where I'm at tonight.
All right. How close to Canada are you? We'll put it that way.
45 minutes. Like it seems like if I looked at the map and had to guess.
Get on the roof of the hotel and you can see it.
Yeah, something like that. So we passed a lot of lakes on the way up here, flew into Minneapolis, and took a little drive. So.
Oh, very good, very good. So like I said, thank you so much for taking the time to join me to have a great conversation with you this evening. And how I always start out, tell us a little bit about yourself. Sorry about that. My kid's phone is my Wi-Fi hotspot, so let me shut that off there. Tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got into barbecue, and what led up to, obviously, as your shirt says, full bore barbecue.
Yeah, no, it's been a bit of a journey. So like I said, I live in Knoxville, Tennessee now, but I'm originally from Southern Indiana, a little town called St. Anthony. I'd be shocked if anybody's heard of it. There's around 300 people in the town, a little less than that, I think, the last official census that came out. So grew up on a farm there. And, I think that's really where barbecue cooking in general kind of got instilled into me. We had everything from cows to chickens and everything like that. And growing up, pretty much everything we ate, we either grew in the garden, hunted, fished, butchered ourselves. Mm-hmm. There's not a lot of, it's becoming a little bit bigger, but like in that area of the world, there's not a lot of barbecue culture. And like, it's hard to find a barbecue restaurant. Let's put it that way. Like there's not a lot of that there, but we did, it's where I learned how to take a whole animal, break it down. We'd have a big butcher day every year, and make sausage and do all that kind of stuff. And they're the only barbecue that really got into that part of the world was all these little towns around there. It's everyone's of German descent. So every little town has a town fest every year with a super German name. There's there's the Strassenfest and like all these little towns. Some of the bigger ones have like a barbecue contest not a sanctioned one or anything like that.
Yeah.
But the biggest one around would be at one where the town where my high school was, called the Heimafest. And you could, there'd be 20, 30 teams in it. You could buy a little button, walk around and test out everybody's barbecue, vote for them, whatever. And that was really how I kind of got introduced to the barbecue world, and it's something we really enjoyed doing. What got me into the barbecue itself was after college, my friends and I, we planned to go over to the Heimafest, check out the barbecue competition, see what was going on, visit the beer garden, of course, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And we show up, and there was only 3 teams competing in it. We were like looking for it. We're like, where is the barbecue contest? So we found the 3 little tents. And it's kind of just when you're from a small place like that, there's a lot of hometown pride that kind of kicks in, and you're like, man, this is something we grew up with. We really don't want to see it die. So we figured, well, one way to make sure there's at least one more team in it is we'll start one up of our own. So, we're in our early 20s, and we just kind of started figuring it out, started practicing. We had a year from there to do it the following, and got a bunch of my high school friends, which that's who I compete with to this day whenever we do get a chance to go out there, and started practicing, got into it the next year. Our only goal was to get our meat turned in, right? Like we are like I said, we weren't used to cooking up briskets and stuff all the time, right? So we did that, went to the award things. We ended up winning chicken, got like 3rd in pulled pork, or 2nd or 3rd in pulled pork, I can't remember now. And I think a 3rd overall finish, and it just kind of got us hooked on it. So we started doing more and more, some bigger ones, different things like that. Went on that way until, we were competing quite a bit in 2017, 18, 19. And in 2019, we ended what I would call the barbecue season or whatever in that area of the world with 5 straight overall championships at competitions. Now, these weren't all sanctioned or anything. Probably couldn't repeat that today. We just kind of hit fire, right? So
Absolutely.
It had always been an idea. I'd always had a bit of an entrepreneurial spirit. So that's where finally decided, like, man, I'm doing this. And we always mixed up our own sauces, own rubs, everything like that. And finally started Full Bore Barbecue as the business side of things, and came out with our sauce and seasoning lines. All those are at fullborebarbecueproducts.com. Started writing recipes, getting into kind of the Instagram world. And that's when I started working with Masterbuilt as well. So on some YouTube content, Instagram content. And then I do a lot of live events for them as well. Like they had me out at like Memphis in May, doing some classes and demos up on stage, and, handing food out and things like that. And it's been a lot of fun. They've gotten me different places all over the country. I know the next one I'm doing for them is in Seattle, out in Loveland, Colorado. They've had me out there just north of Denver. So it's been a lot of fun. Really enjoy it. Just go around the world cooking, man. So.
Oh yeah, you can't go wrong. Can't go wrong with that. So you just so it's really like a lot of us. You kind of just spotted something, went, let me give that a shot, and then, as they say, the rest is history. The hooks were in, and that was that.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it probably comes from, I have you can't tell because I'm sitting down, but I'm 6'8", so and I'm from Southern Indiana, so that means we played a little bit of basketball up there, right? So I was very always super competitive. We had quite a good high school team, and was getting a lot of college looks and things like that, and then had some heart issues that kind of took that away. But so didn't get to continue playing, and took a while to kind of figure out how to get back into the competitive world. Right. So, I tried a bunch of different things, and competition barbecue really was the first thing since basketball that kind of got the juices flowing again, especially being we were the young whippersnappers out there for sure, still are a lot of the times.
Oh yeah.
And we get a lot of looks, a lot of trash talk from some folks, and it puts you, it's like being right back on the court. So
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. We had a couple years back did my first KCBS Masters series, and we just jumped right into the competition scene and just went straight out for that. And so we're at the place. We were at the Anheuser-Busch Brewery in Merrimack, New Hampshire, for the Granite State Barbecue Championship. And I had rolled in on Friday, set up, hung out with the boys. We had some wild weather come in. We're all hanging off of the canopies, keeping them down. There's some canopies flying 2-3 sites over, and just typical chaos. And that settled down, and we had people's choice for a local charity on Saturday. And, of course, that's fun. So we're all laughing. The drinks are flowing. My wife showed up that morning for the rest of the weekend. And, we're just having a good old time. Then, because at least out this way, I know basically Texas runs turn-in day is Saturday. Out here on the East Coast, Northeast anyway, turn-in day is usually on a Sunday. So you load in Friday, one meat challenge or something with the charity on Saturday, turn-ins on Sunday. So the actual comp day Sunday. And she came out of the truck, woke up, grabbed a cup of coffee, and started talking to me, and I just wasn't talking. And she's like, "What's wrong with you?" I go, "It's game day." It's she's like, "What?" And just like that, then as the day went by and I started getting bit, she saw it in my face. She goes, "Oh, I haven't seen that face since the football days." But it's like you were saying, that bit of competition is still in you, but it's different. You're fighting with a piece of meat instead of the piece of meat that's in front of you with the other helmet, with the other uniform on.
Yeah, you're fighting with some charcoal. Like, get it done. Like the turn is in 15. Like, come on. Like,
can you do that? I'm busy.
Yeah, no. After the competitions, I gotta go.
I'm not yelling at you. I'm not yelling. I'm sorry. But it's focus time. But yeah,
as soon as brisket gets turned in, I got to go around and make my apologies for. I was like, I don't know what I said, but I'm sure that I said something that made you mad. I was like, it's game time. It's all about this right now.
100%. 100%. Oh, let's see here. Matt Pereira, what's up? Brother CJ, what's going on? Larry Vaughn, what's happening? Daddy Dutch is officially in the house. Judge Wep, what's going on? Steve Ray from the Owl's Nest Barbecue Pro Shop and also the Midnight Oil.
Steve Ray, that's just south of me in Chattanooga, I believe. Yeah.
85 miles from Ottawa. Yeah. That's where you are.
Yep.
So, yep, he's right there. He has a show just before me on Monday nights, and he was talking to Komado Joe with Christy Vanover. So Komado Joe is getting very well represented this evening, Jacob. So
we like him.
Daddy Dutch, screw you, football days. Mags always race the other water boys onto the field. Love you too, brother. Would believe this guy, Mag. Jeez, with Jacob, with friends like these, brother, I am telling you. Man, oh man.
My buddies know that the easiest. I'm usually, it's pretty hard to like really work me up, but they know that the one way to do it is to go back and pinch the old basketball nerves. So like,
Yeah, actually, and I am representing these clowns too. There's the four of us at the Houston Livestock and Rodeo. But so on the competition side of it, obviously a little bit of the local unsanctioned stuff, but the sanctioned stuff. You said you were doing like demos and stuff in Memphis in May.
Mhm.
Have you ever cooked any of those big boys like Memphis in May or the Royal?
Um,
In honor of
not either of those two. We've done some bigger ones like so that the last one we won the year I was talking about was like state of Kentucky.
Mhm.
So we've done some of the bigger ones, but we don't do a lot of traveling around there. So I live in Tennessee. The rest of the team still lives in Indiana. We keep it kind of in that area of the world. So yeah, there's some bigger ones, around that area of the world, but we haven't had the chance to travel out to some like I said, we're still I got a 7-month-old kid. Whenever he gets a little bit older, we might talk about investing a little bit more into it and traveling, but we don't get to compete a ton anymore just with everybody's in like that busy stage of life right now. So most of the competing and shows and events that I do these days are either helping somebody out or doing it for master built or there is 2 or 3 that we'll do with the old group these days. Now we hope to change that more down the road, but been focusing more on full bore barbecue, the business, getting content out, getting recipes out, things like that. So
Nice. Let's actually for your line. Oh, excuse me. Let's talk about some of the stuff you have. I see here the Black Label Steak and Chop Rub, the classic Campfire, which is a classic barbecue rub, 17th and Vine Kansas City barbecue sauce. All right, well, let's stop right there. What's at 17th and Vine?
So 17th and Vine, you'd call him the godfather of Kansas City barbecue, a guy by the name of Henry Perry, actually from Memphis, but don't tell him that. He came up there. So he was kind of the originator of kind of how it all started. He used to sell, a rack of ribs wrapped in newspaper for 25 cents out of this little cart, way back in the day or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of what everybody points back to how Kansas City barbecue started with this little rib cart. He would also do things like raccoon, possum, whatever, but it just became like a big thing kind of around that area. And then he opened his first brick and mortar, which was on 17th and Vine Street in Kansas City. So I was just kind of an ode to him as far as that story goes. He actually, his 2 apprentices were Arthur and Charlie Bryant. So that's kind of where Arthur Bryant's came from, was Henry Perry. So it kind of I kind of like the history of things like that, but that's all the names are just kind of stuff I came up with. That's the deepest one by far. Yeah. But that is also that's our top selling sauce. That is it's hard to describe the flavor because it's got a little bit of everything, but it's what I created to put on our competition pulled pork. But it goes on everything, obviously, and it's definitely our. Everybody has their favorites, but when I ask people that know the products well what their favorite is, 60 to 70% of the time it's that sauce. So.
Yeah, like you said, the names, like you said, the 17th and Vine, the Bonfire Sweet Heat Spicy Rub, your all-purpose Garden, Barn, and River. Okay, covers the bases, all-purpose. Classic Campfire, Bourbon Street Cajun, Bonfire Sweet Heat,
So the Bonfire Sweet Heat one, I'll talk about that and the 17th and Vine here real quick. So you mentioned like the American Royal, they have their sauce and rub competitions. every year, like the blind taste test thing. So I have entered that with some of these products. So I can't remember if it was last year now or the year before, but whenever I entered them, the 17th and Vine got 7th overall in sauces, and the Bonfire Sweet Heat got 11th overall in rubs. So we were pretty happy with that for sure. And then the Bonfire Sweet Heat and the Classic Campfire both have sauces with the same label, same name. They have very similar profiles that go well together as well. So that's kind of how we made the line work together there.
Oh, cool. And then you obviously, you have the different kits, the competition rib kits, pork butt kit. Tell me the smoked turkey kit. You don't see turkey often. Turkey is very underrated.
Yeah, I do.
My opinion, anyway.
Well, if you do it right, it is. I have one of my favorite turkey recipes I have on the website there. I put it out for Thanksgiving and stuff like that. It's a nice spatchcock turkey, but it's barbecue style. Mm-hmm. And I remember the first time I brought like a barbecued turkey to Thanksgiving in Southern Indiana, they were a little confused, but it's now requested. So,
yeah.
I always fry one too. I always do a barbecue one, a fried one, and then everybody's happy.
Yep. That was my first big cook on the komado, Joe. So we did a couple chicken thighs and some a couple steaks just to play around,
break it in a little bit,
for preparation for the turkey cook. So I wasn't messing around with it then. But yeah, I guess we can get right into that. Now, how did you get to be hooked up with the Master Built company and the Master Built umbrella, if you will?
So when I first started with them, and Masterbuilt's been around forever, they broke onto the scene with their electric smokers back in the day. That's the first smoker I ever owned. It was one of the better Christmases we ever had, actually. Probably the best I ever did gift-wise that Christmas was my dad and my brother and I all got one of the Masterbuilt electric smokers and a Ruger 9mm. So it was a pretty good Christmas. But that was the first smoker I ever owned. So Masterbuilt, and I didn't do anything. So, we never used that in a competition or anything crazy like that. But I was familiar with the name Masterbuilt, and then kind of was getting into the competition scene and things like that. And that's kind of when they came out with their Gravity series, which I'm not sure how familiar you are with that, but the Gravity series Masterbuilts are, ever since the first one they sent me, and I've been doing Instagram content from back when they were a smaller company. Mm-hmm. They've since sold to a company called Middleby Outdoor, which owns Komado Joe char griller as well. So that's kind of how I got hooked up with them. But I started with Masterbuilt, and those Gravity series grills, everybody's all about pellet grills and everything these days as far as the general population goes. And they are easy to work. And the way I describe those Gravity series grills would be kind of what a pellet grill wishes it was. For anybody that's ever tried to cook a steak on a pellet grill, you know what I mean? It's got the same ease of use as far as your temperatures and setting them, everything like that. But you're using real charcoal, real wood, getting that real flavor out of there. And it'll go up to 700 degrees instead of up to 400 like a pellet grill might. So that's what I started with them. I think I have 8 of them now in different places around the Gravity series. So definitely a huge fan of those. But that's kind of how I got started, was more of the Instagram content, making content for them. I've gotten to meet one of the founders of Masterbuilt, the Macklemore boys or whatever. I've met John Jr. and he's a guy that I would call a friend. And yeah, it's a really great company to work with and do stuff for. So
yeah, that's cool. That's
the
cool.
way I got, well, I guess you asked more about Komado Joe. The way I got into that was kind of with Middleby owning all three brands. It's kind of a complete, good, better, best offering with Char Griller, Masterbuilt, Komado Joe. And I've been doing events for them for a while and stuff like that. But they have a guy that works full time for them. That's what he does. Has always been going around to, the Charleston Food Festival, Sundance Film Festival, anywhere that they can set up a booth and cook food and demo these grills. Chef Eric Geffhard, he's a great follow as well, if anybody's interested. So he's been kind of the ones that work directly for them. And they asked him to put together what they call our culinary pro team here a while back. And I have zero business being on this team with the other guys that are on there. It's they're all like trained chefs, and they have James Beard Awards, Michelin Awards, abundant. And then little old me. So I like I said, I've been working with them for a while, and that's what got me more into the Komado Joe, even Char Griller and things like that. And I've really enjoyed it, man. There's I think you have a Konnected Joe.
Yes.
So I have a Konnected in a Series 2 at home, and then I've cooked on all manner of them at different events and things like that. And man, there's just a flavor you can get from those grills that you just can't get from anywhere else. And then with some of the other Komado style cookers that are out there, there's just some features that Komado Joe has that nobody else has, and it's a better product.
Yeah, I've been impressed with it. When Middleby reached out and we're like, oh yeah, would you like to try one of them out? Sure. So I chose the Komado because I've never actually really cooked on one, start to finish. I've helped my buddies who have eggs and, that, and it was already up and running. And all I was really doing is, watching the temperature, spritzing, that end of it. But I had really never done it start to finish. So I was like, oh, okay, well, here's my opportunity. Let's roll. Because I've heard so many great things about the Komado style cookers. A lot of my friends have the green eggs. A couple of the guys are on Team Green Egg, to go around just like you, doing the demos and everything, and love them, swear by them. The food that comes off of them is amazing. The flavor. Steve Ray was saying earlier, one of the reps from Atlanta brought one up to him because he's going to start carrying them at his pro shop. He goes, I'm surrounded by green. I'd be the only guy with red. So I'm going red. And he goes, we just went and bought some cheap frozen Walmart burgers. Threw it on that. And the flavor you got was just fantastic. You wouldn't actually know it was a frozen patty. You would have thought, you fresh ground and patted it yourself and did that. Just the flavor was amazing. and I suppose that's just part of the design, or more so the Komados are, you use lump coal more so than like a briquette. So you actually get that full real wood from it. Do you think that's kind of where that?
The design has a lot to do with it. Even with the Masterbuilt products I use all their lump charcoal and everything like that. And heck, half the time I don't use any wood chunks or anything like that. And I'm getting, a pretty deep smoke ring on a brisket and things of that nature. But with the komado style, it's even deeper than that because you're cooking directly over top of it. Whereas some of the other ones, you know, you're getting it from a side box or something like that. But yeah, the design itself, and where you can really tell, you know, the easiest way to tell is when you're doing chicken. You know, a lot of people, if you see anything online, you know, one of the bigger gripes that you hear from folks is like, oh, my smoked chicken's got rubbery skin, this, that, whatever. I don't think it's possible to do that on a komado, like to get rubbery skin. It's nice, it's crispy, it's perfect. It's just something awesome. And some of the features I was talking about, I got some buddies that are egg guys too. Actually, I have one that I would say is what you would call an egg enthusiast. He's got like 4 of them. But the last komado cooker he bought's a Komado Joe. So we're getting him switched over to the right color. So but you know, they come standard with like your soft close hinges, which is a big thing. You know, those you know, not that you can't pull up a lid on a green egg, obviously you can, but these, you know, it gets up, stays up by itself. And one thing I really like about it, especially in the colder areas of the world, like where I grew up in Indiana, it's got the best seal around the edge that really cuts off. It really takes a lot of the weather out of it whenever you're cooking with that. So like, you know, most of my other smokers, whenever it's cold, you know, I'll calculate in a little bit more time or this or that. With those, you don't have to at all. So I like that. I love that it comes with the dual cooking zones. So it's split in half. You can actually like have something down low to your coals with the grill rack, or they have a product called a soapstone. If you haven't seen one of those, you need to look into that. It's the best way to do a steak that exists.
Really?
So and it comes in and just fits in just like a grill rack would, but it's like, I'm trying to think of how to describe it. Like if you've ever been walking down a creek or something and had like a little skipping rock, like one of those real flat ones that's been in the river forever. It's like that, but even smoother, man. It's like scallop steaks, delicate stuff like that. It gets such a great sear on it. So, you know, you can get accessories like that, have that down low. When I was cooking at Memphis in May, doing a demo, I had that down low, and then I had a heat shield on the other side and a sauce that I was simmering on the top at the exact same time. So I got this grill at 600 degrees, and I'm doing both, right? Which is a pretty awesome thing to do. So it's got that. It comes with the stand and a lot of the stuff that you would have to get additional on some of the other brands. So.
Yeah, I would, like I said, I was real impressed with it. Obviously, I just got it. I'm up in the Lakes region of New Hampshire, so it's going to get cold up here pretty eventually. So, you know, we're going to give that a test. But like I said, before I hit on the entire start to finish of it, that seal, that's one of the first things I noticed when I opened it up. Because normally you would have that, whatever you want to call it, that black felt
gasket in there,
gasket material. And this was, I don't even know what you would want to call it. It almost looks like a whitish, off-white, like bicycle.
It's like a wire mesh, I think I'd call it maybe, yeah.
With that wire mesh around it. You know, it's got that squish to it. And I'm like, okay, that's impressive. You know, and it's thick. It's a good inch and a half wide, you know, throughout the entire diameter of the grill.
Yeah.
So you got some good
high
seal.
Quality.
Yeah. But
well, and then you have the one with the connected technology. So that comes from, you know, the good thing about when Middleby got all those companies together is a lot of that technology and stuff is what is used on the Masterbuilts. I'm pretty sure, but it's the same concept where they have a fan in there. Now you can use that connected one just like you would a traditional with the slides and everything. But on longer cooks, you can set it and forget it, which is not something you can do with the komado style cooker. Usually, not that it's labor intensive, but you do have to watch it. With that, you don't. And it works super well whenever you're using they have a accessory called the Dojo, which is their pizza cooker. It works a little bit different than some of the other komado style cookers. It actually you crack the lid and then you slide it in like that and then close the lid down around it, hook it back on, and it's just open the whole time. So you're just sliding the pizza in and out. You're never opening and closing the grill. So you're keeping your heat, everything like that. And that connected one has a Dojo setting on it that makes sure it's just perfect the whole time.
Yeah. And folks, what he means by it said on the front, and I had a quick picture of the grill on my social media, but take your pellet grill. It's got the your screen with your programs, the dial to change your temperatures, on off button underneath that, 4 buttons on the left hand side. So the top button is your function button, and it gives you the opportunity that you're telling the system what you're using if you're using the Dojo, if you're using the rotisserie, if you're using the griddle program, if you will, so it tells the computer, because like you said, you're dealing with fans and with all that connection, but it's what to do. And folks, when I tell you that this thing is damn near dummy proof, I was shocked because I'm a moron. I turned this thing on, set my temperature to what I wanted. So I was, like I said, I was doing wings and a couple of quick steaks. So I go, let me play around 400. Set it to 400. It has that charcoal igniter. So under the probe ports on the right-hand side, there's this one little silver button. Push it, it glows red. And it pops up on the screen. It says, okay, you set this to 400 degrees. While you're using the connected thing, the traditional bottom vent needs to stay closed. But your top vent, it literally pops up on the screen.
It tells you how far to open it.
It tells you how far to open that top vent. That's it. All you do is hit the little silver button. The lid pops up nice and slow and comfortable. You put your proteins on, you click it back in, and that's that. It connects to your phone, so you can watch everything from Wi-Fi on your phone, sitting on your couch, change the temperatures if you want. The screen itself will give you a line chart, so you will see the spikes as the cook goes along. So it'll show you a little bit of drop. Okay, I must have opened the lid to spritz, so check everything, close it back up, comes back, evens out, works its way back. The technology on this is incredible. The one question I have on it is the shutdown aspect of it, because we all know that the komados are efficient, that you can reuse the coals. I'm having a bit of an issue because it says to leave everything open until the temperature drops under 400 degrees. Well, it just sits there at 400. I'm like, I'm not about to crack this thing. I've used it 3 times. I'm not about to screw it up. So I leave the vents open till it starts to get under. The problem is it doesn't get under till 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
You know, is
And that's,
that the typical the manual is another man's opinion, or can once you're done, can you just shut it all down like the old way?
so I'm not going to speak for Komado Joe and what's in their
Yeah.
what's in their manual. I'll tell you how I do it. There's only two ways to shut those cookers down, folks. You can shut it down or burn it out.
Yeah.
If you leave everything open, it's all going to burn eventually. If you shut all the vents, it's going to shut down eventually. So now I wouldn't shut all the vents down when you have it running at 600, but I've I probably didn't read the manual and should have, but I've definitely not followed the 400 rule before. Let's say.
Yeah,
So,
okay. Now, like I said, I didn't exactly read the menu. I kind of made my own Cliff Note version of it real quick.
Yeah.
Of the basics, but that was the one question I had. But
yeah, and before I forget, I think my favorite feature that I found on there that I didn't even realize it had for a while. And when you're putting it together, you realize that, which they're super easy to put together too. But there's actually like a coil in the bottom. So when you throw your charcoal in there, you just press a button and that coil lights your charcoal. You don't even have to light the charcoal.
Yeah.
One of my favorite features.
Which is interesting because like I said, you can use it as the connected, or you can use it traditional. It has the vents to do both styles. But if you're using the connected, that's how you light the coals, and it lights from the bottom up.
Yeah, and you can use a traditional. Actually, when at Memphis in May, I ran into a company called Grill Blazer. I don't know if you ever heard of that.
Yes.
I kind of thought it was a gimmick at first. I was like, well, it's just kind of a cool flamethrower. Man, I'll tell you what, their sales pitch is like, have your charcoal ready in 30 seconds. I mean, it's ready in 30 seconds. Like for those that don't know what we're talking about, it basically looks like a flamethrower, and you just hook a little one of the small propane tanks to it. So I'll use that to light it up on a weeknight if the wife's hungry. But the other way, 15 minutes, it's ready to go anyway. So a lot of cool things about that grill, man. It's and they just have it. They have it on just the normal medium size one right now, but I'm certain they're going to take that technology to some of the other bigger sizes and things like that too. So plus,
100%.
I mean, the size it's on, it's the same size as their Series 2, and that's it's the most versatile, my favorite size anyway. So.
Yeah, and like I said, the first big cook I did was a turkey, and it was Hamburg. So you have plenty of real estate to work with, on there, because that bird was there comfortably. You're not worrying about one everything, or there was plenty of room on it. So even like I said, the middle size, which that is, it's still fully functioning for anything you want to do. Like I said, 22 pound bird with ease.
It's not a small turkey. So my favorite thing I've done on it lately, actually just did it the other day. I'll have the video and stuff coming out, and the recipe should be on the website if I ever get time to sit down and write it. But I did basically a pot roast, but a chuck roast, right? And I smoked it low and slow for probably 6 hours, got a great bark on it, and then got it in a foil pan and everything like that. But man, that's one of the best things I've cooked on there ever. It was awesome.
Yeah. Right now, I am so impressed with it. I absolutely love it. I can't wait to do more on it. But like you were saying, the assembly on it was fairly easy. You know, the really only thing is you really have to build is the stand it sits on, and you know, put the casters on it, and that's it. You literally place it in. Now, this is the only flaw I have with it, and it's because I was a moron and I put it together myself. Was it has handles?
Hold on, let me guess. Was it you didn't know which wheels went where?
Well, that could be one too. I actually, if I looked at the diagram correctly, I have the two wheels with the locks in the front.
Okay, yeah, that's how they want it on the diagram. So, but that's the one that I had to go back and look at the manual for. Like, where am I supposed to put these?
Normally, a lot of ones have it on one on the front, one on the back.
Yeah.
So you loosen it down, both on the front. But when I lifted the chamber out itself, it's heavy. It's easily over 200 pounds. You know, they were saying somewhere around like 230 pounds for it. And it has handles on the side. So for, you know, to grab it. It is not a one-man grab. Because if I was to do the hand, if they would ask me what I would change on it, it would be the handles and put it at 9 and 3. Is the best I could describe it, because the current handle space are at like 8 and 4. You're not even, and on the back side you have all the hinge and lid equipment, so you can't even really get a good grip from that end of it too. So and I literally just had to take it, luckily, from the tailgate of my truck, and then place it right down, you know, 2 feet into the stand. So it wasn't bad, but it is definitely, the way it's designed is a 2-man lift, just because that placement of the handle is a little awkward. So you would grab the handle, and then with the other hand, you basically grab the side of the lid assembly in the back.
No, I know what you're talking about there. It's a 2-man lift, but I looked at it as a fantastic opportunity to give my brother-in-law an excuse to get out of the house and come over and drink a beer with me. So,
see, I was graced by the presence of my daughter, who is 15 years old, and so she wasn't helping. She was there for moral support and to run and get me cold drinks, because I think it was like 100 degrees out at the time too. It was just great. But like I said, the assembly was great. I think that's the only flaw, was the handles. So if the handles are the biggest flaw of this, oh well, that's fine. But everything else has worked tremendously. Like you said, you can set it to, you want to do 225, set it to 225. You want to jack that up and do 700 for pizzas, jack it up to 700. It's incredible. The diffuser plate, if you will, is like a pizza stone. Comes in 2 pieces. So you got 2 half-moon pieces, which I found fantastic for when I was doing the first cook, when I did the chicken and the steaks. I put one in there, and I was doing the chicken thighs over that, and the steaks were over the coal. Now, I made a mistake, and tell me if I'm wrong or if I should do it a certain way. That following weekend, I did probably a dozen burgers on there, and I went straight over the coals. So on the top, even rack, but over the coals, no plate on there. And man, that was a mistake.
Did you flare up a little bit?
Yeah. Now, then I was thinking, I'm like, maybe I should have put at least one of the plates in. So to do that 2-zone, or would it work fine with both of them in there?
Well, I'll tell you, really anytime you get into a fatty meat like that, if you burgers, anything with bacon, you're going to have the issue. But one thing I've found that's helped that with the komados is, get it to your temperature you want, but before you put the meat on, like completely shut the bottom. And it won't completely get rid of it, but you'll have no air coming up from the bottom, and it'll cut those flare downs down quite a bit.
I was also using it with the Konnected actually on it. So I was running the so
yeah, so it was like that.
Every time the air would go out, so the temperature inside would drop. The fans would kick. The fans would kick on the stove. So I'm actually getting double the one from the fan, then one coming from the top to put the. So I would with a bonfire going out there.
Yeah. So probably putting the plates on. I'm trying to. I haven't done burgers on mine, so I haven't had the problem to solve just yet. But now that I'm thinking about it, if I was doing it, I would probably put both plates on, because you're still going to get the flavor, and the charcoal and everything like that. And then, I might even put some foil on top of the plates, just so I don't have to clean them up later too. But yeah, no, that's
real quick with the chicken. It's like, ooh, foil is my friend.
I get real finicky about the flare ups. I'm quick to throw a foil pan under something like myself. But yeah, burgers would be different, because you wouldn't. I'd do the plates and maybe put some foil on the plates, but that's just so I don't have to clean it up later. I like to keep it looking pretty,
Well, that's now it'll be another experiment of going both plates to see how it does, or going one plate. So you do kind of have that 2-zone technically going. You got the protection from the flames on one side, because you're still getting the heat on the back end of it. Outside of the chamber coming up on that back end, and then straight out. All right, looks like I got some burgers in my flavor in my future. Do a little.
I think you just put some in mine too. I think I'm going to have to try it out now.
Oh, that's awesome. But Jacob, man, thank you so much. Actually, you got any inside information on anything that might be coming down the line?
All the stuff that I have information on, or had information on, has already dropped. So, and I don't have the inside track for next year yet, but if you haven't looked at any of their products, obviously the Komado Joes, the Konnected, those are awesome. Check out the Masterbuilt Gravity series. They just came out with a new one called the XT, which stands for extra tough. They're all high quality, but this one is something different. It's like, you can just, when you touch it, feel it. It's cast as one piece. It's just it's a cool product. I'd check that one out for sure. But anything I do know, if y'all have Instagram, follow @FullBoreBarbecue, because that's where I'm always showing these products, doing new stuff, dropping recipes, things like that. Or on Facebook as well, Full Bore Barbecue Products on Facebook. FullBoreBarbecueProducts.com will have all our recipes and products as well. So.
Yep. You guys, get you some of that 17th and Vine sauce. So I'm going to have to grab some of that myself. And we all know I love my rubs and my sauces. So we're definitely on that. But Jacob, man, thank you so much for taking the time. I know you're busy, but I appreciate you taking the time to join me, talk about you, and talk about this wonderful little Konnected Joe I've been having so much fun with.
Yeah, for sure. Hit me up if there's any questions you have about it. I can try to answer them for sure. And hopefully, you said you're in New Hampshire. I haven't been up there in a minute, but I probably will be someday soon. So I'll have to hit you up when I'm in your neck of the woods.
Yep.
For
We'll
sure.
get it together. We'll have some fun. But man, I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Enjoyed it, and hope everybody else did too.
Awesome. Thanks, brother. All right,
Take
guys.
care.
That was Jacob Lewis, Football Barbecue, and Master Komado Joe. That was good talk. Like I said, I had some questions, and he answered them, and it looks like I sparked a couple of questions put in his head too. But like I said, I'm loving the Konnected Joe. Like I said, chicken thighs and a couple steaks for the first time just to get used to it. That turkey came out tremendous. Like I said, the burgers had the flare up directly over the coals, but I'm going to play with those diffuser plates. Like I said, they're ceramic, so they're more of like like a pizza stone. Cutting we have two, so you can play with it. But I'll be definitely doing some more playing around with that, and and all my other toys. We got a big coming up in 2 weeks, so Miss Mary will be rolling smoke on the shores of Lake Winnipesaukee. I'll leave that for those that know. I can't say anything because I just there we go. But guys, thank you all for tuning in. Next week, I just have to confirm with this wonderful woman. I'm so excited to talk to her. I met her this year down in Houston at the Houston Livestock and Rodeo. Leslie Roque Scott of Ubon's Barbecue out of Yazoo City, Mississippi. You've seen her on Pitmasters, Smoked, countless other shows. Wonderful person. Gave me, 15 minutes of her time down here. And so we're going to get the entire Ubon story. Of her family has owned it forever. So she's in charge. So we're going to get the whole story, Leslie's whole story, the family story, the restaurant story, and all that good old barbecue coming out of Mississippi. So, guys, thank you for tuning in. Please catch the video on Facebook and YouTube. On YouTube, hit that subscribe button. I appreciate it. Like always, subscribe, like, rate, and review. Hit that share button. Any questions or comments, please send them to pitlifebbqpodcast@gmail.com. And until next week, keep the smoke rolling.